MKATS, Milpitas, San Jose. And this is a review of Smallfoot, and then I will do the toy show review. Yes, as promised in a trailer at the beginning of the month, I'm going to go to Super Toy. I guess no, we did, or I did. Yeah, so yeah, I was there. But yeah, Smallfoot, saw that at Eastridge after the toy show. Stone Gremlins already did a review. I already watched the review, so I don't really need to go into what that was. It's a Warner Brothers cartoon animation movie by Warner Brothers Animation, which is does a lot of the DC stuff. So this was more, but done kind of like an Illumination thing. There was an ad for an Illumination movie too. I don't think it was though. The trailers were for other animated movies and shorts and things, including one called Wonder Park, which is weird because that was actually a real place. It was the Park Arcade in the Great Mall. Of course, I'm sure the movie didn't know this, but Park Arcade in the Great Mall in Milpitas in the 90s, up until around 1998 when it went out of business and then was gone. And Dave & Buster's took it over, took some of their employees, so 98, 99, it's around there. Yeah, so it's not the same though. It's clearly a different Wonder Park. It's sort of like Splash Mountain, and years ago there was another one elsewhere where I was like 18 and 600 miles away down in Los Angeles or so, over 600 miles away. Thought people were discussing that water slide in Milpitas. I was 18, I didn't know any better. No, they were discussing something else entirely. Something local. Nothing to do with my thing though. Anyway, so that's kind of like what this probably is too. It's like this is some other Wonder Park. Yeah. Anyway, so but it's like this kid goes into this fantasy realm, a la Tomorrowland, and he's in a park. Anyway, on to that doesn't look all that interesting actually. Looks like Roller Coaster Tycoon ripoff more than anything else. The one in the Great Mall did not have a roller coaster, or was even close to being wonderful. That's why it went under. But yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, so Smallfoot is about Yetis. A colony of Yetis on a mountain in the Himalayas, possibly Everest, that have a bizarre belief system where they're not allowed to go below the cloud layer because it's nothing under there and mastodons are ruling it, and they think that every morning they have to like launch a guy into a gong to make the sun come up because the sun is a snail. Weird sort of quasi native thing, Himalayan native thing. Well, not Pixar, cartoon thing going on. They have Mongolian writing and Chinese writing at one point in the city, and a tea house and stuff. Yeah, it's sort of an Americanized fusion version of it because there's a human in it, and he's a sort of a spoof of the guy from Bigfoot Hunters and whatever, crossed with a little bit of the Ghost Hunters guy and a little bit of the Croc Hunter from years ago. But the Croc Hunter died. Yeah. In an accident involving a stingray, but this guy, they don't address that. This guy didn't die. The Sasquatch hunter guys didn't die. They never even found a Sasquatch. So this is sort of a spoof of that. But there actually are Yetis in the story, and they actually have a society. Well, one of them is inadvertently banished for doubting the guru who has the stones, because they write all their rules on the stones. It's set in stone, and so he's banished to the outside, but he goes down the mountain because he meets up with the fringe people who are among his. He's a Yeti, and he misses these fringe people. Two ladies, a big buff guy, and furry people, um, and a smaller one, guy or girl or something, and they didn't give him a gender. Anyway, so it's not a trans thing. Though. It's just they just left him ambiguous. Um, uh, he goes down and he finds what first sets him off is he finds a crashed plane. A human plane crashes on a mountain, but it inadvertently falls off a cliff. Not before he gets to see it and gets to see a Smallfoot, a human, and so they're Bigfoot, so he's Smallfoot. Goes out and he's like, this movie just came out. I don't want to give the whole thing away, but yeah, packed house at the AMC 16 screen of Eastridge. A very loud screen. Lots of children in it. Also loud, but not overly so. Really, when the message was hit heavy-handed in the movie, there was silence. Like everybody was like, "Okay, that's weird." I don't know if there were some adult suggested jokes, nothing bad, but adult humor jokes in there. Went over the kids' heads, but the adults groaned. There was the whole idea of this sort of cultic Yeti people that are just hiding the fact that there are humans down on the bottom of the mountain from the rest of them. So it causes the whole shtick to happen in the movie. It's not really a spoiler. It's kind of what's going on. There's like this, like they've decided to shun the outside world, kind of like those movies, like not The Happening, well, a little bit. The Village, only better than The Village. That was the Shyamalan movie. Kind of like Get Out a little bit. Didn't see Get Out, but I heard about it. Crazy village sort of going on. Cat, what are you doing? Stop that. Yeah, so yeah, the Yeti movie. It had Channing Tatum in it. The guy from that we reviewed his movie, a couple of his movies back in the day. G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe 2 and She's the Man, where he played a more flamboyant character, probably bi in that movie. G.I. Joe, he was probably bi in that movie too. Yes, but yes, the character. Anyway, so yeah, Yeti movie. Don't want to give too much away. So the guru of the Yetis wears a robe with stones all over it and dictates terms to the other Yetis, saying they can't go down the hill or they'll perish. To hide the fact that they know about humans, he just won't tell them to keep their society going. So it's sort of a metropolis slash dystopia slash. Metropolis was an old sci-fi movie, one of the first ones from back in the day. The idea of a utopia that's set up to hide the fact that they're just cut off from the outside world is also a fantasy trope used many times. Yeah, Oliver Twist. Yeah, City of Lost Children. In a sense. Let's see, a lot of other ones. That idea that just a utopia that actually is a dystopia because the leader is actually crazy and he's trying to hide it from everyone else. And as was pointed out at that last convention, utopia and dystopia literally mean is nowhere and is nothing. If you look at the Greek, is nowhere and is no place, nowhere and no place. But yes, so yeah, they come into contact with humans and chaos and hilarity ensues. Anyway, so yeah, it's fun. The songs are fun. There's songs in it. It's a musical, apparently. Yeah, so they didn't really mention it in Stone Gremlins, but yeah, there's a couple of songs in there. They mentioned the one song that the Stone Gremlins guys thought should be Ice Ice Baby, but actually Under Pressure makes more sense. And it's a spoof of Under Pressure. It's a parody. He doesn't know the words, so he makes them up. Yeah, so that's the joke. It's like, and the human sings the song in the movie. And it fit better than Ice Ice Baby would have fit. So yeah, maybe the Yetis could have sung Ice Ice Baby, but maybe they couldn't get permission from. And maybe Vanilla Ice was like, "Oh, I'm not a Yeti. What do you mean? Oh." Like, no, that wouldn't have worked. It's trying to be a Disney Pixar movie, but it's not. Similar to the Croods in terms of its animation techniques. I don't know if the Croods was that. I think that was Illumination or something similar. No, it wasn't Rika. Anyway, so yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Sure. The video was not sponsored by it or anything. The thing. It does what it set out to do. Its message is heavy-handed, but that's okay. But one of the previews was the Grinch remake, which is Illumination. It looks better than the Jim Carrey movie, but the 30-minute cartoon is fine. That weird, like, remix of the song doesn't really make any sense, but the Grinch song, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Oh, you're a nasty, wasty fop." Yes, they remade it. Yeah, so I guess he's just gonna do mean Grinch things during that. Oh. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. I've really got nothing else. I didn't see it with anyone, other than the people that were in the audience. And afterward, on the bus, there was nothing interesting to speak of. Except for, yeah. There were a couple of teenagers that got on the bus, and they were young teenagers, and they wanted to go to the Great Mall. And they got on at, like, somewhere down White Road. And as they went further and further along, the one girl said to the other, "I don't know if I want to go this far down the road. I've never done that." And the other one's all, No, don't worry about it." They got further and further into Milpitas, they started to worry about it. Yeah, so I suspect that when their parents got the call from them freaking out when they got to the Great Mall, I suspect they were like, what are you doing at the Great Mall? Anyway. Get them. Anyway, so yeah, anyway, yeah, really Yeti movie. It's fine. I'll go see it. The cultural thing with the culture being set in its ways on purpose to avoid isolation is a little like Moana as well, which they were isolated on the one island in that one. But I think this one was probably thinking more like Highline's Universe and a little bit of Ben Bova's Neanderthal Eon series. But not in sci-fi, but on Earth. Yes. Guy in the Yetis. So was that too. And so far there isn't any Rule 34 of it. There should be. Maybe it's not out long enough. It took forever for them to make Croods Rule 34. There's still not very much of that. But it took them all of 3 minutes after the trailers came for Incredibles 2 For them to make Incredibles Rule 34. Of course. Well, the sequel. Yeah. Psst. Most of it is really dumb. Not very creative. There are a few creative ones, though. I can't really mention them in this review because that would be messed up. But yes. I did not do any of them, of course. I don't post on dirty pictures on DeviantArt or anything. I don't do that. Anyway, so... But yeah, this movie does have a butt joke in it. They say that they all emerged from the butt of a yak or something. Yeah. Yak. Which is gross. Not funny, just gross. But yeah. So. Anyway. Yeah, Smallfoot.